time for Muse to put their money where their mouth is
Mm-hmm.
and perform their first live. Oh,
Live.
hang on. I'm getting word in my earpiece.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Correction. They're going to be performing their first live.
Oh, that makes sense.
Easy mistake to make.
Very easy mistake.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared and Al Watch Love Live. It is episode number 3. I'm Jared the Stock Alan Ladium,
Hello.
and we are discussing a season 1 episode number 3 entitled First Live.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's time for their first live. They got to perform their one song they have,
Stardash.
and hopefully get enough people to come to the show.
Yeah. But first, I gotta tell people about it.
I gotta tell people about it. So a lot of this episode is just like going around giving out flyers, Umi being very nervous,
Mm-hmm.
coinciding with the fact that she is Mio.
Yep.
And also just being like, oh god, that skirt's too short. Can't wear that skirt.
Which is hilarious because the skirt that she is wearing this whole time she's saying it is just as short.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not significantly shorter. And she's like, it should be knee length. And I'm like, homegirl, your uniform skirt is not anywhere near knee length. Also, there's like a point where like Hanukkah tells her she has chunky thighs, and I'm like, wow, that's really rude. Like, how would you say that to your friend?
It's a good question.
It's mean.
So we get a lot of different shots of them practicing, getting prepared for the live and everything, making sure their dances are in order, making sure they're in shape and everything, doing all that sorts of stuff. So Umi's like, oh god, I can't do this. Oh my god, I can't believe I had to perform for people. I don't know how to do this. Oh god. The way they're going to try and get her out of that is by having her give out flyers to people, which is Honoka and Katori's idea.
Super similar.
Doesn't really work out that well.
Yeah.
She instead tries to go for a gotcha machine.
Yep.
They keep telling her like, oh, just imagine everyone's a vegetable, and then she's like, oh god, I'm out to burn myself. And they're like, what? No. And then like when she's trying to give out flyers, she's like, oh, I gotta imagine all these people are vegetables, and she's like, oh. Also, we see dudes,
Yeah, that was weird.
multiple like actual dudes.
Yes, I have never seen that in a Love Live, and I was like, these don't exist. What are you talking about? No,
They exist, but they just don't get shown.
they're usually like a torso, if that.
Exactly.
Man.
Because they go to Akihabara to do this. So it's just a bunch of people walking the streets, just like businessmen, kids, students, just random people just walking through. So yeah, you just see a bunch of businessmen walking around. It's like, who are these people?
I was like,
There's
they're
no men in Love Live.
I was legitimately shocked. Like I texted you. I was like, what is this?
So basically their idea to get Umi out of her shyness by handing out flyers doesn't really help. They also canvass the school and everything by giving out flyers. Again, doesn't really do a whole lot. They run into Haneo and Rin. Haneo's like, oh, I'll take a flyer, and Umi's like, would you be kind and just take all the flyers in my hands right now? They're like, no, don't do that.
She tried.
She tried. Katori makes the costumes and everything. They try them on, or she gets shown them, and Umi's like, nope, I'm out. Those are too short. You didn't listen to me. I'm done. Not happening.
It was so weird.
And but then they drag her back in. Regardless, we eventually get to the day of the concert, which probably not the best day to do it when all of the other clubs are to be like, hey, here's our welcoming ceremony if you want to come check out our club.
Yeah.
When A, you're not an official club yet, and B, this is like the busiest day of the school year in terms of like being out and about and people doing their own thing. So like I knew going in like exactly, I remembered what happened. I didn't remember the context of it, where it was like they do it on the welcoming club day, which is like, oh well, no wonder this is what happens.
Yeah.
So they basically they go around again. They have their friends also give flyers out to everyone, just to make sure that people know that it is happening, and then they go off and get ready for their performance. They get dressed and everything. They get prepped and everything. Umi tries to sneak in wearing track pants and doesn't work out.
And it gets pantsed.
It gets pantsed. They get themselves prepped up by counting up, because that's how they're gonna get ready for their live show.
Mm-hmm.
And then the curtains open and they're like, "Yay, let's do this!" And no one's in the audience.
Nobody.
No one has showed up.
At one point, we see like Haneo was going to come and is dragged off by Rin.
Yeah, because she was getting ready to get up and go do it, and Rin's like, "Hey, let's go check out the track club," and Haneo's like, "But So she doesn't get to show up when they first do this. So in my mind, this is way more of an emotional beat because, like, oh crap, no one showed up. But within the context of it, it's like, well, yeah, of course no one showed up. Everyone else is going out and seeing clubs that they're interested in. Why would they show up to this if you're not a club?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It does.
So like it feels like instead of like this being this huge emotional impact, it's like it takes the wind out of his sails by it being on the same day as like all these other clubs going out and doing this. Like,
it's poor planning.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if they did what Aqua did and had like their own day.
Yeah.
Because then, like, you know, you'd be guaranteeing yourself, hey, we're probably gonna have more of an audience for this and everything. Instead of what happens.
Like artificial drama.
Yeah, I think one of the things you're going to see, because from how you've come to this, where you came from Sunshine and now you're watching the original, is that Sunshine really is the maturation of this team's writing abilities.
Yes.
Compared to what this original is, which the original is like basically, hey, we have to make this thing successful in a way so that, you know, eventually we could make more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also we have to make that successful in various ways in general. And sometimes that just kind of comes down to like, hey, we're going to make some kind of cliched writing, some more generalized story beats and everything. Yeah. And like you said, sometimes you got to artificially kind of create some drama here and there.
Yeah. I mean, this was legitimately just awful planning on their part. And like comparing it to the first live with Aqua with the 3 second years and like how that turned out. Like, there's no comparison whatsoever, like how the reactions feel, how they actually like pull it off. There's none. Like, you know as well as I do that like whenever somebody gets like remotely emotional in shows, I usually get like pretty emotional as well. And like I legitimately cannot watch that episode of Sunshine without just like bawling, even knowing that like it turns out okay, because of the way that like they animated Chica's face and the way that it like the vocalizations are done. But on this one I was just like, okay, fine.
Like, it also helps that, like, you know, they do the thing with like Anju having her voice crack when she's singing.
God.
And in this, like, you see Honoka get emotional, but then like immediately she's like able to like kind of be like, all right, well, I just got to get into performing mode and then we're just gonna do this, and they just like act like nothing's really happened, which like in hindsight works because of what happens later on, but like I don't know in the moment if that would have been truly the kind of the actual like the realistic thing for them to do at that point.
No, and I mean like Chica in Sunshine is at the same time she's like, oh, you know, we can do this, we can perform for the people here, people showed up for us, we have to perform. And but you can still hear that emotion in the way that Anju actually like sings it, and you could tell that she's having a hard time, like, or she meaning Chica is having a hard time keeping it together even though she's trying. And I didn't get the same kind of feeling at all from this one, that they were just like, okay, you know, for lack of a better word, the passion wasn't really there. Like, you know that Chica, like, this means the world to her. And you know that this is like the one thing that she really wants to do and wants to be good at. And she failed, or she felt like she failed. And she feels like she dragged her friends in to failing. and I don't get that same sense with these three that it's something that's like something they're extremely passionate about. It's something that they really care about. It's just like a thing that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to me.
But I think at the same time, though, like, if you don't have this scene, you don't have that scene in Sunshine.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that, like, as
No,
someone who
yeah,
watched
yeah.
Sunshine first, like, that's the big difference for
Mhm.
me in these two, because they're obviously very similar in how they play out. But execution was insanely better because you got more of a characterization of the main three before that happened, and the way that Anju was able to actually like vocalize it.
And I think it's just as well, like, that team is better writers when they get to Sunshine.
Yeah.
So, like, they're able to
Which that helps.
Exactly. Like, that's a big thing there. So, like, they're able to create better storylines. They're able to create better drama. They're able to create drama that's not just like, hey, we're putting in drama for the sake of drama. It's like, hey, we are building up to these things. We're building up to this drama points, these specific spots in the show that are going to be very emotionally charged and everything. While here, it's been like, you know, everything's kind of been happy-go-lucky, and then like, oh, here's the rug being thrown out from India real quick.
Yeah.
But like within the context of the story, like you said, it's like, oh, this is just bad planning. Like, you know, if you would have done this like a day later or a day before, like, it would have been probably not as terrible for them.
You might have gotten like 15 people, maybe.
You would have got an audience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But not when people are like, hey, I want to go check out the track team.
Right, exactly. So yeah, they are able to perform Start Dash in most of its entirety. It's not the complete version of the song quite yet.
Ooh, that CG.
Yeah, that CG is rough.
Oh,
That's how it's going to be.
Looked real bad. They looked like robots.
Mm-hmm. Eventually Hanayo shows up and is like, oh, Ren like follows after her, is like, I want to go get Hanayo. Oh, I'll just stay here and watch this. You see Maki outside of the venue, I think, just like listening in. Ellie is in like the control room watching.
Boob
Nozomi is
grabber's
also
out there.
do what?
Boob grabber's out there. And
Yeah,
sees
Nozomi
Maki.
is also outside, and then Nico is just hidden inside.
Yes. Facing backwards.
Yes. So basically all of the key players are here.
What? You mean
I
that
know.
they're gonna join up? Who knew?
Shocking. They finish the performance and everything. And Ellie comes out and it's like, okay, so you did this. What are you gonna do now? You gonna keep going, or is this gonna be the one thing that's gonna be like gonna pull you out of this and make you have your reality check? And Honoka is like, no, we'll keep doing this. We're gonna one day we will fill this whole auditorium and you'll see. And that's basically how the end of the episode is like, Honoka, you're in for a world awakening. You're not gonna just fill this whole auditorium.
Ugh.
And this whole episode, like near the end, is like, I think it was the interesting point of like seeing how, you know, how later on in Sunshine, again, it's weird to compare these two, just so like 1-to-1,
Mhm.
but how Daya initially is seen as, you know, she's the student council president. She's very vehement about school idols and everything.
Right.
And like she's like basically like this wall in front of them. Whereas Ellie is essentially like the show tries to portray her as a villain, but it doesn't really do a good job of it because she's just not like trying to do things to undermine them or anything, trying to do things that will like get in their way. She's mostly just like, I don't really see the point of doing this when the school's going to shut down, and I'm trying my best to try and fight that. Like, I don't think your little group here is going to do that, but you know, whatever.
And I mean, we also see in Sunshine, like, Daya does support them from the shadows in this
Mhm.
same scenario that, you know, they have an issue with the lights. And she's like, all right, well, you know, if they're going to fail, they're going to fail on their own. They're not going to fail because of a power outage.
But also, we see Ellie in that control room, and we don't know why she was in there.
Yeah.
And then you hear later on, oh, someone recorded their live.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, of course, Kanon's the real true villain of the first half of Love Live Sunshine, so.
Fact. Like, Daya is supposed to, like, they try and play her up as a villain, but she's not the villain at all. It's Kanon.
Mm-hmm.
Kanon is the villain of Love Live Sunshine. First half.
So yeah, that's how we end their first live. It is not a success, but Honoka is still very determined to make things of Muse moving forward.
And the other people who will eventually make up
Yes.
Muse were there.
So next time we will be discussing season 1, episode number 4, entitled Maki Renpana, which I wonder, what's going to happen in that episode? So
Guess
if you'd
you'll
like
find out next week.
exactly. So if you'd like more from us, go to seasonlimitcheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Limit Checkup, Season Limit Checkup OVA. And you can find columns reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns reviews. And you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup. So next time, join us for episode number 4, where new members, maybe?